Alright, today we're going to do some beekeeping because the bees are out and it's February. So I already came up here and saw Hive 1, Hive 2, and yes, that mouse hole was there last year. I just neglected it. But Hive 3, there's nothing really going on. And then I see a bunch. Oh my gosh. This is like heavy. There's a bunch of bees. Okay, so this is honey that I had sat out here in the fall. Try to get the wide angle lens. I set this out here in the fall because man, they really don't like the phone. They're like attacking it. Set this out here because it was honey that I couldn't extract, so I decided I'd let them come collect it. So let's see if there's anything going on in Hive number 3 here. I don't know. Sometimes they're just not active. Like maybe this one didn't get as warmed up by the sun like the other ones did. Oh man, that is really purplish on there. Oh, it's gonna make them mad. See if I can get up in ya. Oh yeah. I think I got an inner lid on this. Yeah. They closed up the upper breather hole like you would if you were living through the winter in the cold. It's a quiet hive. I don't like that. These guys might have froze. Not every hive makes it through winter, but it's still a bummer to see this. Yeah. There they are. They froze. I think they ran out of food. So that means I gotta get sugar on these other 2 hives. I can fill this hive back out by July if these other 2 hives make it through the winter. But it still sucks. Oh, come on. These are so hard to get to come up. Let me set the phone down. Come on, you mother trucker. Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Oh, there's still honey in here. So why? What does this mean? So the bees in the cells are heater bees. Got a queen cell with it had a larvae in it. That's wild. Okay, that's from me tearing it out probably, if I had to guess. So why do I have honey on these? And no bees. No, it's an empty cell. Those are both empty cells. It's very unusual. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of honey on this. There's like no bees. Where are all of them? Where'd they all go? Is that a mouse? Mouse do that? Maybe after the hive died? Yeah, there's been a mouse in here. That's my bad. And a ton of honey. Well, I'll lock this down so nothing can get in here once I check it. And then come springtime, when I'm ready to do a split, I'll use these resources to start my next hive. And it'll be totally built out by July with the way things roll around here. I'm going to take this bottom box off. It's still very weird. You guys are going to be sideways for a minute. Yeah, that's a heavy box. Oh. Let's see what's going on in here. Empty. Chewed up. Oh man. Yeah. There's a mouse in here. Can't remember if this was one of my, I feel like this was one of my weaker hives going into winter. I can't remember at this point. I also didn't like how the equipment was set up, because I bought this with bees in it for someone. He had a bunch of goofy stuff going on. Yeah. There's like no bees in here. I wonder if they absconded. I mean, there's some in here, don't get me wrong, but it's really just a whole lot of nothing. Just a bunch of wax and bee parts, so I'm guessing there was a mouse in here, which sucks. Why are you stinging me? What did I do to you? Yeah, now your stinger's trying to get me through the freaking glove, which I hate, because sometimes it does come get me through the freaking glove. These are really thin gloves. Yeah, this time of year, you bet your butt I'm going out fully geared up. It's not a question of if or not they'll sting you, it's how many times. Because it's winter. And they do not want you messing their stuff up. So the issue with mice is they get in, because the bees keep it warm. And obviously there's food source in there. Between the honey and the bees themselves, there's plenty of food. And this box had a really bad baseboard, and it kept getting robbed out at the end of the year. They kept trying to rob it. Well, how cold it's been, the remaining resources like the honey and the wax has been pretty well preserved, because the local pests, the bugs, can't do anything if the bees aren't in there keeping it warm. So if I lock this down while we have this warm spell, it'll keep it nice and cool through the rest of winter, and then I can reuse the equipment come springtime. I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, I'm getting honey on my freaking phone. I'm gonna get in these other two and see how bad they need the sugar. Yeah, it's a pretty light box. I bet I open this and there's like no sugar in here, I bet. I might have started this hive out with sugar in the fall. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I did. And then they filled it with wax. Man, they were busy over the winter, my gosh. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to do. These ones are happy. That is a happy, happy hive. My gosh. Yeah, see you lose one hive, but then another one pulls through like this. And it is such a good feeling. The bummer is, man, the bummer is they got honey up in here. Thankfully, I don't think the queen can get through that mesh, so there shouldn't really be any workers. I'll check, but a lot of this empty honeycomb, well, there really isn't any empty honeycomb. This is all like that. That's empty. But I could probably somehow put some sugar on this. Okay. Yep, I get the message. They want me to leave. See, if it was summertime, I would put, ooh, some hive beetles to squish. Yeah. I didn't really see any when I was in there, which was cool. If it was summertime, I'd pull all this honey out of the top of this, dump it, pull this stupid box off the top, maybe let them do their thing, and then throw the wax away or recycle it or whatever. But it's still winter, so you don't want to do that because those are resources they're using. But man, oh yeah. I mean, they got some food on, and it's only a single deep. To sugar or to not sugar. Again, it's February. It's February 8th. And it's that time of year where you get a warm spell. Girls wake up, you come out here, check on them, see what's going on, and then you go, should I put sugar on them? In my experience, most of the time the answer is yes, especially if you pulled honey at all the year before. Other times the answer is no. It really just depends. And there is a crap ton of dead hive beetles on this from that first hive we checked. I think this hive's going to be a little more feisty. I don't know if I can get you guys a better position to watch this. This is how I should be filming it. I'm an idiot and I filmed it the wrong way. I'm going to turn this freaking camera. This is like a whatever video. If it takes, it takes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Oh boy. This is my big hive. And they just love it when you do that in freaking February. hay. Yeah, you smell that. I mean, obviously you don't, but I do. I smell that banana smell. That's the leave us the fuck alone smell. The lemongrass smell is a good smell. Use this flashlight, try to peek down in here, and they're attracted to lights. They're gonna come flying out at it. Yeah, they got a bunch of honey. A bunch of honey. I'd say this entire top box is nothing but honey. Yeah, this entire top box. I think it's nothing but honey. We're gonna pull one of the frames at the edge because the cluster's in the middle and it's pretty woken up and broken up. They're not like still clustered up or anything. I try not to disturb the hives too much this time of year because it gets cold at night and they don't have time to repair stuff. Oh man, I can't get this out. This is all... I'm gonna tear this thing up trying to get in here. See how it's all propolis and waxed in here? It's so waxed in here, the separator broke. But you see how they're quiet? It's not roaring, and they're like just kind of chilling. They're like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Why you in our hive? That's a sign of a good, happy, like we have food, we have resources. The queen is still in there and alive. So this is the hive that I could probably just leave alone. See, the annoying thing is, if you come into summer or spring and you got too much honey, then the honey is in the way of the comb, like it's in the way of the queen, and she can't get to the comb to lay her eggs. And then you get what's called honey bound. So you don't want to put sugar on if you don't need to, because you kind of want them to burn through the honey before springtime comes, because then they're not honey bound. And if they're honey bound, the queen and the workers go, we don't have any room. Then they leave. And then you're behind. I mean, they leave like a queen behind, but a fresh queen, but yeah, my dummy head. I should have closed up these freaking entrances before winter, and I didn't, so that is my fault. It was busy. But this had quite a bit of honey on it. This one I worry a little bit about. This one has tons of honey on it. This is empty, but there is honey in there. So it's kind of tempting to take either some of the frames or the whole box and put it there. But the problem is, in the winter, bees don't do what you think they do. They actually cluster up, and they don't really move around a whole lot. They just vibrate their wings to keep the hive warm. And they cluster, and they eat honey like kind of like in a sleep mode. And they, the cluster only moves up. They don't ever move back down. So at this time of year, like in a box like this, I don't really expect there to be anything down in here. I expect it all to be up in here. I don't even know if there is anything down in here. And, see how that bottom one is shorter? That's a freaking honey box. And some people like to do a deep and a medium for their brood boxes, because technically that's mathematically all that you need for a queen to have enough room to lay in an adult hive. But I like to do double deeps like this. So in the spring, I almost want them to move fully up into this, so that in the spring I can pull this box off and put a deep from this on here. So my plan moving forward is this comes in the spring, they're up in here, I pull this box, I take one of these really empty boxes and put it on top. They use that wax and they rebuild on it, and they go through the summer. This one, I want them to go through this honey in the top, but I don't want them to run out is the problem. And then I want them to, I just need these ones to live. And then I take the honey that's in this upper box and give that and the wax to them. And then I have a double deep. They can build both of those out. That gets rid of your spring, you know, them trying to leave you in the spring, so they both have tons of room and work to do. This one would be the one where you might have to do a split, like early summer. And at that point, you take the split and you put it in here and try to get them to build that equipment out by the end of summer. Depending on how the spring nectar flow goes, this one, through the summer, you might have to do a split like in the middle or end of summer. And then I could use one of those. But, you know, it all depends on how things go. But to put sugar on this one or to not to, I don't know, man. I think I'll have to revisit again in like a couple weeks and see how they're doing in this top box. This one I don't need to touch for the rest of winter, unless we have a really warm winter where they can't hibernate. But this spacer that's up here that we were in, that is a sugar box, and I put sugar on them in the beginning of winter, and it looks like to me they were bored in here. And because the early part of winter was warm, they converted all that sugar into wax, converted it into a bunch of comb, and then I don't know if they stole the honey from over here, or maybe they somehow got enough water to metabolize that sugar into some sort of syrup, and then they filled that honeycomb with syrup. I don't know. It's crazy, but end of the story is I got to get that off of there in the spring and leave them with, you know, something to work with. So, I don't know. Anywho, that's beekeeping for you. Moving on.